Hi, Professor McBroom here, and hopefully you all enjoyed Chapter 0, and hopefully that was a good setup for you for how we're going to approach this course, mostly from an environmental point of view. So when we go through these chapters, we'll always be thinking back to what we learned in Chapter 0, some of the concepts, green chemistry, cradle to cradle, things like that. So now we're going to move on to Chapter 1. We're going to spend 2 weeks on this chapter. There's a lot here, so just to kind of remind you of what we're going to be looking at. So first of all, we're going to study air, normal air, the air that we breathe and which makes up our atmosphere. And then we're going to look at some of the major air pollutants in the air and where they come from. And then we're going to tie in the chemistry. We're going to look at chemical equations and the chemical equations that relate to how air pollutants are formed. We're also going to distinguish between different kinds of matter, pure substances, mixtures, including heterogeneous and homogeneous mixtures, elements, compounds, etc. Naming some simple compounds, looking at the major features of the periodic table, and we'll look at some simple elements, know the difference between atoms and molecules, and balancing simple equations, and how to use scientific notation and basic calculations. And this one is very important, using dimensional analysis to solve simple unit conversions. We're going to need that in order to go from different metric units to others, like from milliliters to liters, or from grams to kilograms, things like that. And we'll be using dimensional analysis to do that. And then finally to do concentration units, which are very important, such as percentage and parts per million and parts per billion. The latter two units are very important when we're talking about air pollution. Just to kind of show you some of the things in this chapter, there's a really fun song about the elements here, a couple of minutes, so you should check that out just for fun. I've recorded a series of lectures. We have 2 weeks again to spend on this chapter, so try and watch at least half of them one week and half the other. I've recorded a little video on scientific notation. You've all seen this before, but this is just a little refresher in case you need it. And as well as a very important video on dimensional analysis. This video is actually contained in the first video 1A as well, but you can come back and look at this if you want to look at it again. Again, here are the slides if you want to print them out to take notes while you watch the videos. These next 3 files are all something that you probably want to print out and keep next to you when you're studying, because it'll make it easier for you to memorize the metric prefixes, the periodic table, and you're going to use this when you do kind of calculations related to this chapter. This is how you can make yourself a set of flashcards. Again, in a class like this, obviously I can't force you to memorize the elements and their names, but it's not a bad idea. It'll make you a lot faster at recognizing these, and you'll probably, if you ever take any science beyond this class, you would want to know these. These next 2 are just, this is a worksheet on using scientific notation, again, in case you're rusty, and a key to that worksheet. And these next 3 items they're optional. They're study quizzes. Again, they don't count for anything, but they will help you study for the quiz that you're actually going to take. And Figures Alive have some fun videos related to things like air pollution and calculations around parts per million. So that's what we're going to be doing for the next 2 weeks.